My name is Mitch Benner, and we started this podcast to remove the stigma around sobriety from addiction.
My name is Aaron Nelson. Through our stories and the stories of our guests, we hope to help you find a new path.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. All right, guys, we are back at Shattered Darkness, somewhere in the 30s with our episode. But we just want to say welcome back. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. We hope we're having just even a small impact here in our community. But if you guys are following us and listening to this, please share it with your friends that you think might benefit from it. And give us feedback. You can email us at shattereddarkness5@gmail.com. You can hit us up on any of our social pages. But yeah, just we're trying to boost our numbers up to 500 on YouTube. I think we're just under 2. So we're going to be kind of pushing that a little bit and really trying to get some more follows and likes. So if you guys are finding value in this, please tell your friends about it. And thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts. We appreciate it.
And as a reminder, we are trying to push forward, not to line our pockets with anything, but we're trying to get money to give back to the community. That's the whole point. This is, nonprofit as nonprofit gets. It's not about paying us, it's about paying you back to help you get help.
Yeah, and that's something.
Subscribe. That's the reason why.
Yeah, we've agreed as a team to pour everything back into this podcast to make it as effective for our communities as possible. So, anyways, today we have a super awesome guest with us. Her name is Ashley Griffin, and we met Ashley through a previous guest of ours. And honestly, just over the past week or so, I've been getting to know her, and she has a really amazing story. So thank you so much, Ashley, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're super excited to hear your story. So you kind of start wherever you want to start, wherever you think is important, and we'll kind of plug in and ask questions along the way.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I feel super honored to be here today. So thank you for having me.
Of course.
Both. Yeah, it's been a wild ride in my life. I had a really good childhood, honestly, from birth to probably 10. I had a really good childhood. My parents were awesome.
Yeah.
They loved to do camping stuff with me and my brother and sister, and I had a good childhood. I will say that. There's a few things that happened that changed the trajectory of that, but for the most part, we were very family oriented. We came from my dad's side, we had a very large family. My grandpa was kind of the root of everybody. He kind of kept the glue going, and he had a really cool house in North Fort Collins where everybody would get together and have parties and hang out. And I remember as a young kid getting paid to go get the beers for the family.
Yeah.
Everybody go give me a beer, and it's like, all right, I'll give you 25 cents or something. And so we went and did that. I every time we brought a beer back, it was like shake the beer can, drink the beer. And I thought it was normal, honestly. And throughout my whole childhood, that's kind of how it continued on, and it was normalized. Which I think back in the 80s, it's like you party, you get drunk, you have a great time. And it was all my family members, and they are awesome. They loved all the grandkids, and we had a big family. My grandpa was remarried 4 times. And
really?
Yeah. His last wife, she's like my grandmother. I love her so dearly. And she helped raise me alongside with him. Eventually ended up living with them later on in life.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a cool experience as a kid. And
how is your grandpa? Seems like, was he kind of a party guy? Loved having people around? And,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. He loved surrounding himself with people, his friends even. And so he's an old body man. He used to build old school cars. So
okay.
He has and my dad, if you ever watched this, I think it's a 56 Mercury.
Yeah. He's going to be like, you better get that right.
All kinds of stuff with the car. I sat in the garage and watched them rebuild it.
Yeah. So that was kind of the environment. They were car people. And
we lived in a garage.
Yeah. I love that. That's a lot of fun. My wife's family from Kansas.
Are they? That's awesome. Yeah. It was so wholesome because you're just sitting around, everybody's BSing, and you just,
I like that too, because you really build deep relationships with people during those times,
Well, yeah, and I think that's honestly why we're so close as a family. We all have each other's backs no matter what, and even through the years, that's how it's been. And yeah.
That's what I was going to ask you. I looked at your Facebook a little bit before, and it really seems like you and your brother and your sister, and your family is very, very close.
So close.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
we're all like pretty much 2 years apart.
Okay.
So I'm the oldest. I do have a stepsister. She's part of our family since I was 10, or like 11, probably. I consider her a sister. She's a year older than me, but I was the oldest, and then my sister's middle, my brother's the youngest, and I mean, it was crazy getting to help raise them. Eventually, we were very close. We fought a lot, but we're still best friends to this day,
That's
and
awesome.
we hype each other up nonstop. So
I love that. That's really special.
Yeah, we ended up having to move to New Mexico when I was 10, and then some weird trauma happened with my mom's work. She ended up, this crazy lady, she cut off a horse head and put it at the end of our driveway, which I eventually realized it was like a wish of death. And there was like some weird drama. She was abusing my mom at her work, and my mom reported her, and she got fired, and she retaliated. And
that's her retaliation.
Yeah,
that's crazy,
it was
dude.
Insane. And then
It's like Godfather.
it was Godfather
Real, dude. Like,
It wasn't in your
I know, right? I went to.
was it your horse?
No, so it was the neighbors, but we got close with it. I mean, it was horrible. And we went and stayed in a hotel. My mom was having crazy nightmares. I was 10.
What the?
And then my mom was like, "We can't live here." Like, we only lived there, I think, 10 months at this point. Like, my dad had to move there for his job. He's a pilot. He was going through like so many hours, and offered this opportunity to get flight hours out of Farmington, New Mexico, and.
Oh, Farmington?
Farmington.
Dude, I've built all the cell towers in Farmington.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude. I'm very familiar with that place.
Really wild. I don't know. Yeah.
Sorry, Farmington, if you're listening.
I got lost. Dude, I got lost in the desert. Not that far outside of Farmington, because we would have these packages of information that would be like, go to the cactus with a broken arm and take a right, and it's like, or you'd have like GPS locations that you would plug into like a first gen Garmin thing that you'd put in your car.
That's wild.
So yeah, I remember
those directions, dude.
It was crazy. I remember calling my dad. I'm like, dude, I got a gallon of water and like half a day's worth of food. If you don't hear from me in 24 hours, like, these are my coordinates. Send search and rescue.
Oh my! I can imagine how very.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Farmington not too far away from like the San Luis Valley.
Yeah.
Durango.
Yep.
Come up in the mountains, dude. Don't hang out in Farmington.
Seriously though.
I know. I would stay in Durango.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, so we had to up and move. But my dad had to stay there. He was very destined to achieve his goals of wanting to be a pilot. Like, it was a huge goal of his, and to this day, like, I commend him for that. He's a strong man for getting through that, and like, especially losing his children and his wife to move back, and then they ended up getting divorced about a year later. My mom had to get a really good job to pay for all of his kids.
Yeah.
And, being the eldest, you get put in that role of raising kids, or just at least being there to help raise them, which at the time felt kind of heavy, as a younger kid. But
how did the divorce impact you guys?
It was horrible. I mean, I think it impacted me. I can't speak for my brother and sister.
Sure.
We have talked about it, obviously. But, my parents' love, in my eyes, was very strong. But, like, I remember being in Farmington, and I'd be at the top of the stairs. My sister would be in the middle, and my brother would be with the notepad, and I'd be listening to my parents talk. And I'd go tell my sister what they said. She'd run and they'd write it down and be like, then we finally realized, oh, they're not good, and that to us was like, it was a lot of anxiety. I remember anxiety being kicked up in that part of my life, and just being like, holy crap. But I was also not a very easy kid. I was super high ADHD. My brother was. My sister was pretty mellow. And that was challenging for my mom, I know.
Yeah.
She also was dealing with her own internal traumas in her own life, and her own, and I think that having kids and being the only parent present was very hard on her. Just having no idea what to do. And then eventually my dad, within a year, got a job in Phoenix, based out of Phoenix, to fly out of the Phoenix airport as first officer to start. Was
he commercial?
Yeah, for Mesa Airlines at the time, which was America West, and then, But he went on, he found my stepmom. They started dating and getting close to each other. And then, we started doing like every 3 months going down to visit because he could fly. We flew for free. And got to get time with dad. And my dad was awesome. Like he was super hands-on dad. So it was kind of like when it wasn't there during the school year, it was impactful. I mean, I was going into 7th grade, and that was when it all just kind of went to shit. And my dad was there like mentally. He, I could call him all the time and talk to him. But I mean, I started doing drugs in 7th grade and just heavy like meth, doing a lot of meth, doing a lot of coke, doing it with the wrong friends. Yeah.
How old were you in 7th grade?
Like
13?
Yeah. Okay. And smoking cigarettes too. I mean, it was pretty crazy. And
what do you think drew you to that?
I think the trauma from the horse, that whole situation was all messed up.
Okay, I gotta go back to that a little bit. Did that ever get hashed out?
Yeah, so the police got involved. She got charged. The lady that we found out it was her, she was like watching in the bushes while I walked out.
Oh my God, dude, what a psycho.
Yeah, and even just like hearing my mom, she had nightmares for a long time, and like just being at that age, it was scary for me. Like,
dude, how the hell did they do that?
I don't
like,
know.
That's what I'm sorry. Maybe this is my
before.
Yeah, it's like my sick mind. I'm like, how
me too.
off a freaking horse's head?
She had she paid somebody to do
that.
Yeah,
for sure.
And then they preserved it for a day.
That's fucking crazy to me, dude.
You don't even. I mean,
And the first thing you like loved too.
I did.
That's
fucking loser.
Dude, that is just
sad. And
it's
that
was shit.
Yeah, it was. And at the time it was just so scary because you didn't know. I mean, we uprooted our whole life, and then to move dramatically. And then my mom, they didn't talk about much. She was very like, you internalize that and deal with it. And then she tried getting me into therapy later. It was too late at that point. But I got in with the wrong people and hung out with some just bad people, and ended up getting myself in a bad situation at a party. Well, back up. My best friend and I, we met these guys. We didn't know how old they were at the time. Got their numbers, went to a party later on. I needed a ride home. I was like, well, I'll just call these random guys I met and see if I don't even know my thought process back then. I was just like, fuck it all, And they picked me up. They did not take me home. Had to go back home, back to their house. I knew something bad was going to happen. And eventually, I was raped, and I didn't tell anybody, and I ran out of that house. I had no clothes. I ran all the way home. It was like Prospect and Shields, and I lived right by Bolts Junior High. So that was probably like a 30-minute run. I was 14, almost 15.
Jesus Christ.
And then at that point, I was like, fuck it all. And I just dove right into meth real hard. I mean, I was doing it all the time. My mom had no idea. I was sneaking out of the house. She knew I was sneaking out. She would like sit there and wait for me and then try to take me to Mountain Crest. And then I would throw a fit. I mean, I would try hitting her. I was a pretty aggressive kid. Like,
how did meth affect you?
Yes. And that's what I was thinking. Like, at the time, I just didn't know that side effects of meth can bring aggression. It can bring, psychosis. It can do a lot of things that you just don't even know you're capable of. And started punching holes in the wall. Like, my mom couldn't get through to me. I went to therapy. She threw me on 3 different anxiety and depression medications. Like, it was wild. And
it's also a time too where mental health just wasn't a thing.
Not at all. Go to therapy with your mom, but no. I mean, I walked out of every therapy session when I tried to be with her, and I had a lot of resentment. I blamed her for a lot, but knowing now, having kids and knowing kind of shit does happen, and I have to have a little more grace now. I did do a lot of blaming back then, but and I think not having a father present as an eldest daughter and having to be the role of raising my brother and sister, because my mom worked out of Denver. So I'd have to get home, prepare dinner for the kids, like all while getting high, all while worrying about going to pick up another supply or going to party, make sure the kids were all right. Eventually they just figured out how to make like quesadillas or something.
That's crazy, man.
I don't know.
Yeah. Wow.
And so
your mom wasn't around a lot.
Not at all. And then
which isn't her fault. Like, we
It's
need to
not
make
her
sure we
fault.
highlight, right?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
Like, she
dude, like,
was
she
doing
did
the best
yes.
she could. She gave us a beautiful home.
100%.
She did make sure there was food on the table. She was a single mom, you know, and then she did eventually start dating this man who ended up being awful. But yeah, just all these things that are components to why my mental health and my brother and sister's mental health was declining. And she just, yeah, I give my mom all the credit. I give my dad a lot of credit too, but the majority goes to her. She was there. She was the one that just never gave up.
Yeah, dude,
Like,
white knuckled it for sure.
really did. And she did the best she could. And her parents, you know, they were not very supportive. I've not had the best relationship with them, unfortunately. My brother and my sister has. My brother and I have not. My brother actually deals with a lot of addiction still to this day. Like, he's in this rehab out of I forget, it's somewhere nice in California.
Yeah,
And
I think I know
it's
what you're
called
talking
Graceland.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's doing that. So I'm proud of him. I'm hopeful that he.
Is this his first stint, or I mean, we don't have to talk right
Like,
there.
the 10th maybe, or yeah, like, you know, fentanyl, meth have really taken over his life. I think he's got I think he has some time sober at this point, but he, at being the youngest kid, I think he got, you know, pushed to the wayside
Totally.
the most, and he really needed my dad, like really bad. And he started young too with the drugs, so it was kind of.
Yeah, and that's like, I've always been a huge proponent, and I just think, like, I'm a very spiritual person, right? Like, it's important for me to be in my kids' lives, right? Like, my son needs to know, he needs to have an example of what it looks like to be a man.
Yeah.
Right. And
Father figure.
yeah, and then he
Right.
needs to be invited into manhood.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, hey, dude, like,
Yes.
you have these responsibilities, you know. And even now at 4 years old, I'm like, dude, your gift is your strength.
Yeah.
And I was like, you don't understand, man. Like, your job is to protect people that are weaker than you.
Oh, totally.
You know, so that's women, younger
Yes.
people that are no less strong than you. Like,
Yeah.
your job is to protect.
Well, yeah, I remember this crazy story. I had just gotten high. I was probably 15 by this point. I had just gotten high. I was hanging out with a bunch of gangbangers. Like, they were not. I mean, in Fort Collins.
I was gonna say, let's paint a real picture.
I don't know. It was. I mean,
You know what,
they
dude?
always had guns.
My
I
friend
mean,
got
shoot
freaking
at a young
stabbed
age.
in Old Town.
That's what I'm saying. One of the brothers ended up killing somebody. Like 2 days after I was there, and
Jesus.
he's been in prison since, I think, 20 some years already, and hasn't, not out. But my dad, he was here visiting, and like, I didn't know he was coming into town, but my mom must have called and been like, you need to come do something. Like, I can't find her. It's been 3 days. She's been missing. Like, cops were called, the whole thing. And he found me. I don't know how he did, but he busted this door in. I was in the back room. And I just remember him going in there. He threw me over his shoulder and took me out of the house. And he was just like, nope. And then, like, my 16th birthday happened. And all I remember is my mom was like, you're done here. Like, you can no longer live with me. And I had to move to Arizona.
Wow.
And my dad scared the living hell out of me. I got there and he was like, he pushed me up against the wall. He was like, you fuck up here and you're done. I'm going to knock you out. Like, you're not going to fuck around here. I was like, all right. I was scared of him. So I got sober for 2 years and I got through high school. I had to do sophomore year again there. And then I did my junior year during like summer school.
Yeah.
And then I graduated on time. I don't know how, but
That's crazy.
Drugs were like compacted into that 3.5 years were very like, I've read so many studies now on what neuroplasticity is and how it can affect your brain at a young age doing drugs.
Especially, and I, not to be a dick or anything, but like, those are some heavy fucking drugs.
Yeah.
To
a
be
lot
doing
of people that were in my grade did it too. Like,
that's crazy to me, dude.
Like, even drinking, I was hiding handles of McCormick's in like my little stuffed animals in my corner, dude, and chugging alcohol before I go to my 7th, 8th, and 9th grade years. Like, I don't even know how I made it through.
That blows my mind. Like, I mean, I remember drinking when I was 14 at like my aunt's wedding, like we snuck in and got a little buzzed and passed out on her table. But like, I think of that in my brain and I'm like, dude, you are a child.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My 14-year-old son now. I'm
like,
I would murder.
Right?
Tackle you and then I might homeschool you. No,
that's because
I just don't know why it happened.
I want to go back a little bit, like the mentality did you know anything about drugs at that point? Like,
I thought alcohol was legit. Like, I
yeah,
just thought you could. And then, I mean, I just really didn't want to remember,
yeah,
honestly. I think now knowing what I know, but at the time I didn't know that. I was just in a lot of pain. I was in a lot of betrayal.
it seems like from what
Abandonment.
you said, it's just such a dramatic shift.
It was so dramatic. I think back on that time and I'm like, how did I even get away with that?
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, talking to other people in recovery, it's been helpful for me because I didn't have faith back then. I was raised Christian. My family was very, you know, we went to church every Sunday, but it wasn't instilled in us like to the core of faith and having faith over fear and things like that. And that is something that I now am trying to instill into my children.
Yeah.
And that's important to me and that's important to them, you know, and when they have the faith now, they know they can do anything.
Yeah.
And I think that if I had that component back then, I could have easily seen my way out in a better way.
You know, and that's interesting that you say that too, because yeah, in high school, I'm just trying to draw a similarity, right? Like in high school, I remember being very involved in our youth group.
Oh yeah.
You know, like I was dating a girl that I was in love with, and you know, so we were very good kids. Like, but had I not had that situation, right, or had I not fallen in love with her, or something like that, path could have been very different, and it probably would have been.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
knowing myself, and
yeah, totally.
So
yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Life
crazy.
can take you in different trajectories because I was doing real good in Arizona, and then I had a boyfriend who was awesome. Like everybody I hung out with sober, and they were great people. Honestly, some of the best years of my teenage years. I loved being raised out there, and I don't know what it was inside of me. Something felt like I gotta move. I gotta get out of here. I don't know if it maybe I was just like undealt with resentment that I had for my dad. I had a lot of resentment for my stepmom. You know, I love her very dearly now, but I was put through a lot of unnecessary things when I was going through, you know, getting sober nonetheless. And then I'm not, you know, they were alcoholics then. And there's a lot of things that happened to me there that resulted in my dad and I having to move out twice while I lived there in Arizona. For the 2 years I was there, we moved into 2 different houses. And the second house, you know, he was like, I'm going to go live back with Julie, you know, my stepmom. You're going to have to find some roommates and live in this house and get through high school and work a full-time job. So I was like, all right, let's do this. So let's go. So I was very independent at a young age, you know, and thinking that I have these independences makes me hyper independent at some point. You know, I switch over to this hyper independent survival role because I'm in high school, then going to work after and also paying these bills, but also maintaining a whole ass house with a pool. And like, yeah, it was cool. I had a, you know, house in high school and I could have my friends over, but it was too much. I don't know.
You know, and I agree with you. Like there's some abandonment, I think, that happens there, you know?
There was, because I felt, yeah, that's stuff I worked through later in life, but I definitely felt the abandonment there. I found peace with it now because why hold on to the past? You can't do anything about it. You just help yourself understand it now.
I think that's one of the best things you said so far is there's no point in dwelling on things that happened.
None.
Then.
I hate saying this, but it's kind of like beating a dead horse.
It is. No pun intended. That's fucking hilarious.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Like, if you think about it in this context, in this room,
it's real. It's really
totally real.
Yeah, because it's a lot. It's heavy. It's too
So
much.
let me ask you this: how do you, for those that are listening, you take me through that process, right? Like, obviously, there's a ton of trauma in your story.
Yeah.
Like, take me through that process where it's like, I'm just going to leave the past in the past. Like, how do you get there?
Well, I'll tell you this first key component, this last piece, that was a big trauma piece for me, that I am now trying to talk about my story. And, you know, yeah, addiction started first. And then I think, you know, the trauma, addiction, and then another trauma, moving back from Arizona, I chose a really shitty route for myself. And there is a point where after I go through the depths of hell to get myself to this point of not looking back, not so much looking back, but more or less accepting the things I cannot change,
right.
You know, and So backing up to moving, I moved back, moved in with someone that I knew, didn't know what the components, entailed at the time. But he and I had a weird trauma bond with one another. And I started out as thinking it was like a move in with a friend type of deal, not knowing what I was getting myself into, finding out, a long story short, schizophrenia was playing a part. There was a lot of like multiple personality disorders that were happening.
With you or with
him? Yeah, him. Sorry. And yeah, so eventually his brain switched, and I kind of saw it happening. We lived in this really shitty apartment, like super, like run down, like we could barely make it type of deal. It was like maybe $600 a month rent, and it was just like so weird. One of the rooms was already closed off. I think he was growing weed in there or something weird, but he wouldn't let me see it, which was even weirder. And then eventually his personality switched, and he put me in the bathroom, locked me in there, and chained me to a toilet for 10 months and raped me and kidnapped me basically for 10 months. And I was just helpless. Like I couldn't leave, I couldn't move, I was not allowed out, I could not shower alone, I could not do anything. I was powerless, like fully powerless, like couldn't do anything. And so I'll back up. When I was 14, I was never able to, I never told anybody what happened to me. So I carried that with me. And now I'm 18 and now this happens. And, like, I think after the 10th month, he forgot to lock it. And I saw that, and then heard him leave, and I threw my body through the door, got through. He had like 5 deadbolts on the outside. And I've got goosebumps just thinking about it. And I could have never told this story until I did the work. But got myself out. I had a bra, underwear, and I just went through that front door and I ran again. I was running. So I'm always in this survival mode is what I'm coming to terms with, And so I ran, I got home to my mom, and they were all obviously like, where have you been? But I had created this weird wedge before I moved. Like when I moved back, I was like, leave me alone, stay out of my life. I don't want you in my life. Like, so I had already put this weird wedge. They weren't like looking for me avidly because I had put this wedge, and it was like a real big wedge. I don't even know why I did it. I was just in a weird headspace. And so then I don't tell anybody about this, right? And I get myself into this relationship with an older man. He was like 10 years older than me. And I was in this relationship with him for 2 years. There was all these weird like things coming out for me during this relationship. He had no clue why. I didn't tell him what had happened to me, but he was obviously questioning, like, are you okay? Like something's going on, and I'm young, still like 19 at this point, and he's 10 years older than me, so 29. He's just kind of like, all right, and so we ebb and flow for 2 years somehow. And I eventually just break up with him, turn 21, and go off the rails. Like I lost my mind for a while, for a couple of years. I started doing ecstasy, started doing a ton of coke, a lot of drinking, like nonstop. I was blacking out every night, and I was driving and blacking out. And like, I don't even know how I never got a DUI ever in my life. I've never had a drug charge. So then I meet Jackson's dad, and he's like, I'm from an island. I'm thinking about moving out to Maine, back to Maine. And I was like, no way, like that's crazy. So we go date for like 3 months. And I had caught an assault charge. Some girl attacked me out front of Tony's one night. She found out she was sleeping with my boyfriend at the time. And I like tried walking away. She caused some crazy shit with me. I ended up knocking her out. She pressed charges. I ended up missing my court date, which issued a warrant, and then go forward and meeting Andrew, my ex, Jackson's dad. And he's like, I'm going to move to Maine. You want to go with me? And I was like, yeah, I got a warrant. Like, let's go. I need to get out of here.
I gotta get the fuck out of here.
So I go move to this island off the coast of Portland, Maine, and live out there. It's totally a culture shock. Like I know no one. I just know him, and his whole family's out there, which was pretty cool actually. And we ended up getting pregnant within the first year, having our son, and I built a good relationship, with his family. His sister especially was still one of my dearest friends to this day. And she lived with us off and on a couple times. But one night we were out in, they call it the Old Port, and he was just like, "What's up with you? You seem off." And I'm like drinking and having a good time. And all of a sudden, I'm like, "I got to tell you something." And I was like, this fucking happened to me. And I told him about, being stuck in the bathroom and like having these things, because he started noticing things like, why won't you clean a bathroom? Like, why won't you take a shower for longer than 2 minutes? Why are you trying to hustle in and out of there? Like, he's questioning me, and that starts getting my wheels turning because I know I've repressed everything. Like, that trauma was non existent for like 6 years. and it came out, and he was just sitting there like this.
Like, what?
Just all these things.
Was this after your son was born?
Yeah, and I was back on Adderall at this point, and starting to take Adderall on top of drinking and everything for the ADHD, and started abusing it a little bit, but not a lot at that time. And so fast forward, we end up moving back here after 4 years of living on the island. It was a cool experience. Like,
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
sometimes I wish I never left, but there's things that had to happen here. My daughter had to be here and things like that. Through addiction, and what I've realized is that I kind of feel like my choices that I've made were so survival based, based off of trauma and what trauma does to the brain and the neuroplasticity, because we know that, your neural pathways run through your cognitive development. Like, that's hard for you to be able to make choices, plan things out, understand yourself as a whole as well.
Completely.
Yeah. And like, I didn't understand who I was. And that was hard enough, even trying to be a parent. And so, moved and continued on my journey with Adderall and doing other drugs, Coke. Andrew and I did Coke here and there, and, that got weird. Just a lot of things.
Was he into all that stuff too?
Yeah, he was. I mean, he loved to drink. He smoked cigarettes. Like, we partied together.
Dude, I guarantee you at some point we ran into each other downtown.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we were always out. And then, we moved back, and that got weird. I was in a very weird headspace. First year we moved back, he didn't want to be here, and there was a lot of resentment from him to me for moving back here. And I told him, I gave them options. I was like, I know that you don't want to break up the family, but if you want to stay here, we can make it work. And we can separate. And he was just like, no, like, I'll move. And his brother did live here, so he had someone, but it was so much resentment and in a lot of neglect in our relationship. And hindsight, I made a lot of really shitty choices based out of fear, based out of not having done any healing at this point yet. Like, I haven't even done therapy for anything I went through. So I'm just like floating.
How old are you at this point?
25. 25. Yeah. So like 8 months after moving back here, I went to jail, turned myself in because I said at this point.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
I did like a week, in jail, and then eventually got all charges dropped. I had to pay restitution of like $5,000 for her hospital bill or something. I don't know. I took care of it. Got my license back. And that was a pretty crazy time frame. But then I don't know if it was like the mix of doing drugs, the mix of feeling neglect in the relationship, and should have just ended it. But I made a horrible decision to have an affair, and I cheated on him, and actually got pregnant the first time I slept with him, or cheated on him. And there's just like so much stuff that trickled after that effect that I don't have good. I don't feel good about it. It's hard for me to talk about. Like, I know one of the pillars you mentioned is vulnerability. I try to be vulnerable about my life because what I did after was so detrimental. And so had the affair, had Olivia, our daughter. I ended up going to Sava Center. I don't know if you know the Sava Center.
No.
It's over off of College. I finally realized now I have a daughter. Like, I have a responsibility to these kids. I need to at least start doing some therapy. and they specialize in sexual assault. And so I went there for 2 years. Had the coolest male therapist. I did like serious EMDR therapy. Like I've never in my life knew that EMDR could be.
What is EMDR?
I don't know what it stands for.
Oh, good.
But
Oh, shit.
EMDR, yeah,
I can Google it.
it's so you sit and you're asked a series of questions, and you are holding these probes, and they're vibrating back and forth, and you just hold them, and you're just sitting, and you're talking to your therapist about your trauma, and all while it's doing, it's stimulating your neural pathways, and so while you're talking about your trauma, it allows the plaque that's built up in your the neural pathways to break down. So then they start to recharge and you're firing neurons again, and that way you can get through that trauma. But because it was so intense and it had gone so many years of no therapy or nothing, it was really hard. I cried so much. I cried so much.
You did a really good job of explaining that. So it's basically eye movement desensitization and reprocessing.
Yes.
So it's a form of psychotherapy that helps people heal through emotional distress of trauma and other distressing life experiences by using bilateral stimulation.
Yeah.
So I've heard really good things about it.
It's so hard. It's like the hardest mental work I've ever done.
Yeah.
And that's when I kind of started abusing Adderall a lot, because I felt in my brain at the time where I was breaking down these neural pathways, but it takes years for your brain to recover, like so many years.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know that at the time. I just thought I was.
And you're talking from alcohol?
Alcohol, Adderall. Like,
Adderall.
I'm trying to make a big, profound statement about Adderall.
Yeah.
Like, just because it affected me in ways I can't explain. After coming from doing meth, then now doing synthetic meth, and it being prescribed legally. Like,
it's the same shit.
It's literally the same. And it will put you into a psychosis. And so I'm like doing 100 milligrams of
Victory.
Adderall.
Dude, he's all about like,
yeah.
I mean, he fucking hates medication.
Yeah,
All of it.
fine.
Every single one.
I'm sorry.
No, dude, and you're right. Like, I'll get on there and say, like,
Run away, never use it again.
There's this Macklemore song that I resonate with because he talks. It's full of. It's fucking crazy. It's like my drug dealer was a doctor, know, and I was. They're
is it the one with Alan Stone?
I think so. It's called like drug abuse or
okay.
Something.
There's a couple. There's a couple songs he has that I'm like,
it's crazy.
Welcome everyone that looks like.
Dude, and it's crazy that you say that, right? Because like I'm on gabapentin and Lexapro right now.
Yeah. So you know what? Like I've learned through this whole process, magnesium, glycinate, vitamin D those are like your staples to like handling anxiety, to handle depression. Like it's just a lack of like.
And not one time during any like, dude, I went to detox, right? And the first fucking thing they did was give me pills.
Because they're getting a payout.
And so it's just like, and I'm still, and dude, so my point in all of this is, right, so yesterday, I couldn't get my medication. I didn't have it for 3 days. No, you're good.
That's just me to say something.
Well, and dude,
I don't mean many people who.
and that's the thing, like, no, you're good. Like, and I've been a big proponent, like, it has helped me through certain
Of course.
areas, you know what I mean? But
I get it.
at the same time, yesterday was my first experience with, like, the other side of it, you know, like, where I didn't have it. And, bro, I was like, it was horrible.
Well, Lexapro, you said?
Yeah.
That was one of the ones that I was on when I was 13, 14, 15 years old. And when your brain is that young, I've learned Lexapro can be so, like, it like, blocks.
Yes, that's exactly what it does.
Yeah, and like it's just so hard.
Well, and dude, that's exactly what it's doing to my emotions.
Oh, absolutely. And if you were to stop taking it, you're gonna go like you're gonna feel dizzy. You're gonna. Feel
I had a migraine. That's what I'm saying. I had a migraine yesterday. I couldn't even formulate a fucking thought. Yeah. Like it was.
Well, doctors will be like, "Oh, that's normal." Like
yeah, and then I look at my wife and she's like, she said one thing, bro. I just completely broke down.
I'm sure.
And started crying, and I was just like, I have no idea what like. And so I tell him this, right? And I'm like, dude, you're right. Like, this is fucked. Yeah. You know, and I don't want...
it's like talking to new people, trying to find new avenues. Like, there are vitamins that can literally help you with that.
See, and this is the thing. We don't talk about that, right? Yeah. And Big Pharma, like, dude, I'll say it. Fuck Big Pharma.
Yeah.
Like, and it's crazy to me because it doesn't help.
No.
at all. All it's doing is creating more addiction.
Well, I have this weird theory, right? Okay, I became really in tune with my body over these past like 4 years, and I went through some pretty brutal, a pretty brutal relationship that I am not going to even touch on. But I, so 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with lupus, and I was like,
what is that?
It's an autoimmune disease.
Okay.
It's like similar. They say that it's your lack of white blood cells being able to fight off infection. So
Okay.
you're more like.
You're more
likely
susceptible to
get
disease,
sick,
and
right?
yeah. Okay.
Well, little did I know, I got bit by a tick when I lived in Maine. Had no clue what Lyme's disease was or anything like that.
Crazy.
Yeah, and I was trying to treat the lupus, and nothing was happening. Like, and I was taking Adderall still during this time frame, and all this weird shit was happening with my body, and I'm just like, what's going on? So I finally got into functional medicine, and they ran a full panel. They're like, you've got Lyme's, you have mold detox, like you need to do mold detox. I lived in this house that had black mold, had no idea that it just continues to grow inside of you. And it can give symptoms like anxiety, depression, like gut issues, neurological issues, like neuropathy, things like that I was experiencing. Like I couldn't even walk. I was walking with a cane at one point. And I was going into this doctor who was the one that actually diagnosed me with MTHFR. But she also, there was a side to her that I didn't like. I kept going to the doctor. I'm like, my hips are popping. My hips keep popping out. Like, I swear to God, they're dislocated. You know, it felt like they were. And she's like, you're crazy. Like, she basically was like, you're crazy. And after 6 months of going in and begging for an MRI, she was like, we'll give you a CT scan for your head, and we'll give you a right MRI on your head. I was like, what? What was the CT for? She's like, well, we just want to make sure like everything's
like you're not fucking
AKA
crazy.
You're fucking crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like, okay, bitch, watch this.
Yeah.
And so I go in, do the CT, comes back first. She's like, oh, your findings are impeccable. Thank goodness, whatever. I'm like, God, I swear to God, lady, I'm gonna knock you out. And so then, like 2 days later, she calls me and she's like, I just want to apologize. And I'm like, okay, why? And she's like, you have 100% torn labrum on your right side. Like my hip was 100% torn off of like, so you have your joint, your ball joint in here, and then the labrum sits over it. It was fully detached. And so she's like, I'd like to see your left side. You complain of pain there too, right? And I was like, yeah, I can't walk. Like I crawled myself into you and you didn't believe me, you know? Sure enough, left side fully torn, 100%.
How did it happen?
I think it was maybe a mix of like childbirth, and then I wakeboarded, and I remember this wakeboarding incident where I fell and like the board went that way and my body went that way. I think there was like detachment. Yeah. So ended up having to have like emergency surgery on the first side. I had 7 screws put into and then a cadaver labrum put over it, and then sutured 100% around the whole labrum. And then you get to recover for 4 months, and then you do the next one.
So this is where they completely detach your leg, right?
Yeah. No, they didn't fully do the full cut. They did like I have 2 scars, so they went all the way 360 around the whole thing, but with a scope.
My friend just had this.
Yeah, it's through OCR. They did that whole. It was awesome.
Yeah, good experience surgically.
Yeah, I recovered like immaculate.
That's awesome.
They did a great job. They're like, you won't have to get a full hip replacement for like 15 years. I was like,
yeah,
sweet,
yeah, nice.
So, but through all that, found out I had this autoimmune called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, EDS, and it's a connective tissue issue, I call it. And that's kind of where they did decide that that's where a lot of the tearing did start from, but the tear could have started from birth or whatever. And
that's crazy.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's been a weird health journey and trying to figure this out. But the funny thing is, the first surgery that I got, I was still taking Adderall. I was losing my mind, like full blown losing my mind. I was screaming at my partner at the time. I was a miserable human. Like I was in pain, obviously too. And I decided to get sober, like 3 days before my hip surgery. And I went into the hip surgery, got it done. A day after, I went into a psychosis. I was taking the pain meds. I started taking the pain meds that they were on, and I found out I was allergic to them. Oh, shit. And I stood up after this hip surgery, and I remember blacking out. And my partner at the time, he was horrible. He was videoing me. It was really fucked up. No support whatsoever. My mom was in town, and I was discombobulated, screaming at everybody, causing chaos. And she came in, took my babies out from my home, and like she's like, if you don't figure your shit out, like you're never gonna get your kids back.
Your mom.
She was just pulling grandma's rights at this point. You know, she had every right to. I was fucked up. Like being in psychosis, like that was the weirdest experience of my life. And then eventually had to go be hospitalized for it, and like, yeah. So that was like the start. That was September 28th. Almost a month from now will be my 6 years from all drugs, like every drug. And yeah, so that was like my first start to sobriety. And I didn't even do a program. I wasn't even getting support for it. I did get therapy eventually, but yeah, just shit kind of went downhill after I got sober. I can't say it got better in a lot of ways. I did a lot of damage prior to, like I had the affair. I continued to have that affair for 4 years while I was still with Jack's dad. I lied about a lot of things, and I think that lying was a key component to addiction. In a lot, you have so much shame, like you know you're doing wrong, but then you don't know how to make it right.
Well, and at some point,
It's
dude,
like-
like you start to compound all this stuff.
Oh my
You
God.
know what I mean? And dude,
Yeah.
I shake my head, right? Like I look at you right now and I'm blown the fuck away
Yeah.
by your story. Like I was not expecting any of that.
For
I mean,
sure.
your life has been like a fucking bad movie. You know what I'm saying?
My
Like
God.
it's like
The majority of it was
and it's but at the
But
same
at the
time,
same
like
time, I don't know.
it's your experiences, right? It's a compilation of your experiences and your traumas, right?
Yeah.
And at some point it gets to a point where it's just like I don't even know I don't know how to deal with any of this. I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
You know, you feel inside like because all of this has happened to me, it's my fault, right? I'm fucking everything up. So
Yeah.
why not?
Right.
You know, I mean, just full send, go 100% into the addiction, right? Like
Yeah.
that's what I would have done.
Yeah.
And I think
it's
that
hard not to.
90% of people in that experience would have done the same thing.
100%.
You know, and that's one thing that like looking back on these videos, right, and all of this stuff is like, are we actually helping people? You know, like is rehab actually doing what they're supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm really starting to understand like sobriety equals human superpower. I'm telling you, I've never met an addict that's sober. And I saw this, I posted this on our Shattered Darkness thing the other day, but I've never seen an addict sober that isn't just like, holy shit, that's one incredible human being.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's like, but what we're not doing as a society is taking time to sit down and do this.
Yeah.
Right. And
I agree with
understand
that.
Ashley.
Yeah.
Right. Like, what have you been through?
Yeah.
Right. Let me meet you in the gutter.
Yeah.
Right. Let me listen to your story and then let's put it out and try to help other people. Right. Like, and that's what I keep telling society. Like, if you just go meet that person and understand their trauma, you might change their life.
100%. Yeah. Just talking to people can help.
And I'm like, you don't have to be this clinical person. You don't have to be anything. All you have to do is be a human fucking being.
Yeah. And shame, I'm telling you, shame and guilt, that drove me for a long time. And that drove my addiction and it drives me to this day. I hate it. Like the people closest to me are like, stop it. Like you have permission to let go of your shame and guilt. Like, you know, Andrew, he helped raise Olivia for the first 4 years of her life because I told no one that I had an affair. So he believed she was his.
Jesus.
And that's something I want to take accountability for because I was fucked up during that time. Like going from doing Adderall, then getting pregnant after having an affair and not, you know, dealing with my past and all of these components that played a part in my decisions that were detrimental, you know, and like the ripple effect after the fact, that's what fucks with me to this day. And I have to put my faith in my higher power and I have to work the steps. And I don't have to, but I say I have to because I do have to in order to stay okay. Because after losing Andrew, my son's dad, you know, that was horrendous. He was the most profound human I've ever known. And to think that I did something to hurt him, that's something I get to live with, you know, and that's something I cannot go back to. I can't do anything about it now. So you forgive yourself and you find peace and you just focus on the things that are important, your children, yourself, your health, and your job, you know, and
how does faith help you with grace and forgiveness?
if I didn't have faith, man. Faith has driven my life. I put God is my faith. God is my higher power. Whatever, I know everybody has their own higher power, whatever it looks like to them. But for me, God is there. I talk to Him daily, maybe 100 times a day, every day.
Yeah.
God, this is too heavy. Take this from me, or I need guidance. Like, why did I make that decision? Trying to understand the whys. And I always say this: the whys. Why did they do that?
Yeah.
Somebody says, "Oh yeah, she cheated. She got a kid." Well, but why?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, she's a human. I try to have grace on myself and realize that what I did was detrimental. It also hurt Olivia's father. I have to live with that too, and those are things that I'm trying to make right now. And there's, maybe I'm not doing it the way people want me to, but I'm doing it the way that I need to do for me.
Well, and maybe you're doing it the way that you feel like God is telling you to do it.
Yeah. Well, and faith hasn't even been in my life until probably 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I didn't have that faith. And now that I do, my gosh, I'll never.
It's amazing, dude. It's truly like, it sounds cliche, but it really is a gift, and it's a place that you can go and take that shame and guilt, right? Like, and re-identify yourself through what God says about us,
Yeah.
And who you are. And oh, man, dude,
yeah.
So what's cool about that is you don't have to do it alone.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that, so my son has a pet spider, and it died. It's all the way down.
Okay.
Oh no.
And it died.
Oh.
And it's funny too because there's the different things that people latch onto. I'm like, it's a fucking spider.
Yeah.
He loved it.
This is the second one he's died. And I was like,
was it a tarantula?
no, it's just I don't know.
This is like a little pet.
Spider people know what they are.
Yeah.
They think it's rad and whatever, it's cool.
For sure.
I saw something on Facebook that tarantulas are about to make their march across Colorado.
I think they do it every year.
Yeah,
They do.
But anyway, so it's like, it happened, the spider passed away or whatever, and I'm like, dude, what's really cool about this is you don't have to do it on your own. I want you to feel these feelings and work through them, but just know that you don't have to do this alone. Talk to God, ask Him questions, or just talk to Him or whatever, and then it's going to help you process it and go through it. It's like, just don't bottle it, but get through it with Him. That's what He's there for. And I think that's just kind of a neat lesson through all of this, because I'm similar to you. I'm like 1 year in, I couldn't figure out how to deal with all the guilt and all the bullshit that I did. But the second I gave it up to Him and Jesus to help me through this, it's gotten so much easier.
It's like a full surrender.
Yeah.
Like, I had a God moment, and I dropped to my knees because I was just like, this cannot be. Like, the minute that Andrew died, I was just like, no, this is not, this is not.
I'm sorry, he passed away?
Yeah, he died.
He
died.
did not realize.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, today. So
Yeah, you're right.
they have today on his death.
So that's your son's death?
Yes.
How many years ago?
2 today.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was on his truck. Like, I was still signer on his truck. So I was the first person they called. He was still in the truck, and the cop was like, I need your permission to get in the truck. And I'm like, well, why? I was like, don't repo his truck. Like, I thought they were trying to repo it because I knew he was behind. And my credit was getting all screwed up. That was another, yeah. And she goes, no, ma'am, we think there's somebody in this truck that, is deceased and we need to get him out. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean? And my heart, I couldn't breathe. I was just like, no. I was like, what does he look like? I'm like, is he 6'4"? Like, he got blonde hair. Like, what is it? And she's like, yeah, we think that's, him. And oh my God, it's haunting. And, then the victim advocate, the detective come, and all these ripple effects. Somebody very close to me was the person who ended up selling it to him. And, that was hard to work through as well. But, what I've learned in sobriety is Andrew had like 4 or 5 opportunities to make the choice to not go pick up the money, to not make the call to pick up, to not go break out the line, and the amount of fentanyl he had was just like, it was stupid. So
Fentanyl's and
Yeah.
drugs.
I know, dude. It's a nightmare.
yeah, I had to go pick
But I
that
think
truck
there's
up,
always going to
too.
be something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's evil, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's
the enemy.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
evil. Like, look at the state of the world, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's fucking evil,
It's everywhere.
and it's everywhere,
And they're
and it's
lacing it with everything. Like, even in meetings, they're handing out fentanyl strips. Like, if you're gonna go get high, please test your drugs first. Like, make sure there's not a deadly amount of fentanyl.
Which is crazy,
I've
dude.
lost
Like,
3 friends to fentanyl on top of him, and then 4 friends to heroin, 3 friends to cirrhosis of the liver. Like, addiction's crazy in my life, and just the people.
Was it? And obviously your brother is dealing with some stuff. Like, was it anybody else in your family?
No, not really drugs. It was always alcohol. Yeah, I mean, I think my sister, she tried. She did.
Dabbled.
She was. I call her Mother Teresa.
Dude, which is crazy to me because I'm the middle child, and usually the middle child is the crazy one.
Yeah, I know, right? She was good, man. She was good. So yeah, I mean, and I think that like after losing Andrew, that was more like I have to change the way that I parent. I have to change the way that I teach these kids, and now these kids know all about addiction.
Yeah. Dude,
so that's.
Do they know everything?
Unfortunately, my daughter was there that day that I got the call. And then she was there, and then I had to go pick my son up from school, and that was trauma. Like if I ever text him like, "How you doing, bud?" He's always like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Oh God, this kid's living in trauma. Like he's scared to lose another parent, and he's so grateful. Like obviously that I don't use and I don't drink. Yeah. We don't have anything in the home ever, obviously, and yeah, it's hard. We talked about drugs. I educated them. I let them know I'm real with them.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm not going to keep them in the dark, and I'm sure shit not going to ignore their feelings. Yeah. Like I got them into therapy right away, and they did like 6 months of therapy. Did they
engage in that pretty well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we worked through a lot of it, like, and we talk about Andrew, and we lived like he was such a boisterous man, like his smile and his laugh was just so contagious. Like he laugh, you laugh, and he's just a jokester and. I mean, just a big Mainer boy, loud, and I don't know. God, I miss the man, but he was a great dad, and thank God he got all his time with them before they passed. Before he passed, that they get to
they have good memories.
Yeah, they have great memories.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so.
And it's hard too because that's such a huge part of life that we ignore.
Yeah.
Until it happens.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry that you had to go through that. That's really devastating.
Thanks. Yeah. I know, it's crazy. Blows my mind.
And you're pretty far along, with all this process, which is really good. So I mean, you talked about vulnerability in your faith. So obviously, the accountability piece is you have some things to work through there, but it really sounds like you're doing it.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy when you do the self-inflicting things.
Yeah.
And being accountable for it's really hard because for me and for some people, I've heard that it sounds like you just have to. Oh, I was wrong. Like your doctor is accountable.
Right.
Right. Like as brutal as that is, you make all these assumptions that you're right or you think you're right.
Well,
and now you have to live with it,
Yeah. I mean, people are to the point where they're like, you need to stop apologizing. Like, please stop.
And it's
just live your life. And I'm like, oh.
Are you proud of yourself?
Of course now. Yeah. Not for years.
That's a question.
My whole life.
Yeah, that's a question I heard early on. I like to ask that question because
that's a good way to think of it. You're proud of yourself now that you can't do anything about the past. And I still go through this too of, dude, I can tell you stories too of all the dumb shit I did and all the wrongs and all the whatevers.
Yeah.
But if you can just let it go, it's hard. And I think that's kind of where accountability comes in and say your piece. And then that's it.
And this is where I like the steps in AA, I like how they're ordered too, because, a lot of times, I had the opportunity to see somebody that I did a lot of damage to recently. And she was very gracious, and I didn't deserve that. But she was, and she's very happy in her life right now. And, but I was in the throes of my craziness and, I was an ex-girlfriend and broke up with her in a brutal way. And I think she ended up in a car accident and lost some of her fingers. And, I was just I almost didn't go to our reunion because of that. I just caused so much damage, but it was very healing.
Yeah.
And she was really kind, and it's kind of weird. You look a lot like her.
Really? That's crazy.
Weird.
Oh,
but it's good, and I like those steps, right? You go back, you try to make amends, and where it's going to be helpful. And, I think that's all of those steps, right, are for us as the addict to heal.
Well, and I think there's components. Okay. So how you have your pillars, there's components that branch off,
Yes.
So I think that I associate time and patience with accountability because, yes, you did the trauma or you did what you did. But once you take the accountability, it's there. But now you're doing your part and you really have to just submit to time.
Yeah.
Like a true submittal to time, because sometimes you get anxious and you're just like, I want to see change. I want to do better. Like I want it to happen now, like at least for me personally, I've had this anxious feeling of wanting to make things right, but couldn't in one day. Yeah. And I was like, oh God, so now I have to just be patient. Okay, like what addict is patient?
Nah, dude, and it's so hard, right? And this is such a God thing too, right? Because we can't level up until we're ready.
100%.
You know what I mean? And I think that, like, I was watching this video the other day, and so many people are like, well, if God's real, then why is there so much pain in the world? And it's
because God forgives.
That, and it's a fucking testing ground. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if you believe in God and it's like, okay, I want all of these things in my life, you have to climb the mountain, right? And it's like, if you believe in that stuff, like I am very much the same way. I'm constantly telling my wife and Aaron, how can we make the podcast better? What can we do? And both of them are like, dude, just wait. Yeah. Like be patient. And it's hard as fuck for me, but I saw this thing the other day and it just reminded me, like, I'm not there yet. I haven't learned what I need to learn, or I haven't given up the things in my life that I need to give up, in order to.
I haven't, dude.
Or you haven't. That's very true. Or we haven't come together in a way that God really needs us to go to that next stage, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's
where not enough of y'all like and subscribe.
Great chance to plug the podcast. We are doing great things. But and it just gives you that sense of like, okay, I am on the right track.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I believe that in my heart.
Well, I think as an addict, you need an affirmation.
100%.
Like,
oh my God, dude.
Like,
I mean,
I
put stuff up on, right, and it's not just words. It's, I want people to recognize me, right? Like, I want to be recognized. Totally. And that is, I think, probably the thing, that's like, I was like, why? Yeah. Like, what about, this isn't about you.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm figuring out you too is figuring out what your survival techniques are too. Right. I think like when you're in survival mode, it could look like so many different things. Totally. You could be in freeze mode, fight mode, flee mode, these things. And then you'll find yourself in like hairy situations where you're like reacting in a way maybe you wouldn't even do in a normal like headspace, right. And so then you have to understand yourself there. And that's part of addiction. That's part of.
And it's crazy because my wife is like, dude, you can't just let things be what they are, can you? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, I'll never be that way. Yeah. I'm always going to be pushing the rope uphill. That's just who I am.
Or
in a good way.
Things are needing pushed and what things are best.
See, and that is a great question, 100%. Right? And that is where I struggle.
That's a good one.
It is, because that's where I feel like the voice of God really comes into your life, right? Yes. And you're like, okay, dude, like, you're at that fork, right? And if I go the wrong way, now you've got to turn around and come all the way back. Yeah. You know what I mean? So,
well, if you have faith, like, because fear so like the acronym I like to use is false evidence appearing real.
Yeah, I like
in
that.
The fear.
Yeah.
And if you really break it down, if you're in a scenario, like, is this really real? Like, what can I do to actually make this real, but in a healthy, faith-driven way?
Right.
I put God up here. I put myself here, I put my kids here, and then I keep building my chain and I keep thriving through faith, and if people don't like your decisions, that's what I've come to. It's your decision in life, ultimately, whether it's good or not, whether people, agree or not, it's still your choice. Yeah. You get to decide what you do with it.
Yeah. And I think too, by allowing people to have too much power over the direction of your life, mm-hmm. parents, yes. grandparents, things like that, you start to lose that identity, and confidence in yourself.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it could even be therapists or addiction counselors, that are imparting their thing. It could be us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like, hey, that's maybe not, but if it's in your heart and it's something that you believe in and you see it, don't listen to everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's been a hard place for me to get to. For me, it was with my dad. I just put a lot of credence into that, really, on what he thought of me, and how proud he was of me and all of that kind of stuff. And there's still, it matters, obviously, like, I love my dad and I want him to be proud of me. But at the end of the day, like, that's not real anymore, right? I'm not a kid anymore. I'm a man, right? Like, I have my own kids. I have this. And if I want to get that, I need to draw that from my relationship with Christ,
Yes.
and not from something here on earth.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, because everything's materialistic at the end of the day. We're all just human bodies just trying to survive and stay above water, because life is hard enough. Like, I mean, I pay all my bills on my own. Like, I do get no help. And I just, that is empowering for me. I have to remind myself, like, you are waking up, you're going to work every day, you're working.
What do you do for work?
I'm a bookkeeper.
Okay.
I work under 2 accountants, and I do I do a lot of accounting work without like the CPA degree.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've learned so much. We build industrial water gates for irrigation canals like throughout the whole world, and we have technicians that like drop them in and install them for irrigation companies, and we manage the whole U.S. The other 2 accountants and I.
That's amazing.
It's a cool job.
That's awesome.
And there 3 years on my sobriety date actually, which is kind of cool. Full
That is
circle thing. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool.
So what does a community do for you? Like, how have you drawn people in to help you, or what do you do to help them?
When I go to meetings and things like that, I try to take a little extra time to talk to people. AA meetings. Yeah, I don't really resonate well, surprisingly, with NA. I'm all for it. I appreciate the AA setting a little more with people who have a lot of time.
Yeah.
For me personally, I needed that. I needed hope to like understand that that's possible. But when I go to these meetings, I try to engage with people, especially, younger women or people who I see struggling with things that they've had happen to them in their lives, and I'll extend my name and I'll go out of my way to talk to people or like reach out, hey, let's have a one-on-one, or I haven't gotten to the point of wanting to be a sponsor. I can do a good job at taking care of my life, but like, I just don't know. I really want to do more service work. It is part of my job.
And it's so funny, right? I think this space is so complicated because people are complicated.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody's journey to sobriety is very different.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of resources and things available. And one of the things that I wanted to do with this podcast was to get 100 episodes in and go back and look for a pattern.
Yeah.
And we're about 30 so episodes in, and it's already starting to emerge.
That's cool.
And it's grace.
Yeah.
And it's understanding.
Yeah.
And it's just sitting down with people. And I think it's being able to be relatable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. So be open-minded, because there's probably people do a lot of crazy shit,
Fuck yeah, dude.
You could, and that's the thing, is like, I'm going to be the last one to judge anybody.
Exactly.
How the hell can I?
Exactly. And that's what I think makes you so powerful. That's what I think makes Alex so powerful. Right? Is there is no fucking judgment whatsoever.
None.
Whatsoever.
Because we wouldn't want to be judged.
Exactly.
We know that we wouldn't do it in our right minds.
And it was for me, it was grace through the people that I met through rehab, through my family, through my life. It almost brings me to tears when I think about it. Like, I deserved to be left in the gutter, but I wasn't. And so
you have to up your self-worth. I think there's a huge component to self-worth. Like, I had no self-worth for so many years. Like, I felt this big, and I didn't realize how much power I had within my own self. And what I could even come up with to try to just survive and then actually flourish, within self-confidence, self-love, knowing that I'm doing good things for my children, for myself, with faith. I don't know. I've thought about writing a book.
Dude, me too. I'd love to. Yeah, I would love to.
I don't know. I just want to help people at this point.
Feel that's what it's all about, man.
Yeah.
I think doing that kind of gives your self-worth a little bit bigger too, because I think if you just take, subconsciously you're not.
It doesn't fulfill you.
You're not. Yeah, exactly.
Your cup is empty.
Yeah.
And the more
you're trying to fill it by consuming more, taking, and it's just
right.
It's super fit, and I think that's what's so fucking wrong with the world right now.
It is a selfish world.
It's very selfish, and it's all about how I can be whatever I want, or it's just it's very selfish.
It's always been that way, dude. I think a lot about this is you hear like the older generation complaining about the younger generation.
Oh, all the time.
Dude, we're gonna be the boomers, and then our kids are gonna be the boomers, dude, it's all gonna be the same thing.
Yeah.
I think everybody is just all comparing themselves to
Yeah.
everybody else.
Well, and then you
So
have
I need this to look like that.
well, and you have platforms like social media that never existed.
But you had that with dude, it's all the same.
No.
It was
And it's just what we
different.
use now.
It was just different then. Yeah.
The medium is different.
Totally different now.
You know, and it's just hard. I think it's just the second you're able to kind of get over yourself and get over your ego,
Yeah, ego's a big part of it.
you know. And I'm not sitting here saying I'm perfect, but
Well, no.
it's easy to see the folks that have done that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they got over themselves. Oh, they started loving themselves. Oh, shoot, they started helping people. Okay, they're onto something.
Yeah, and you just said something that hit home with me, which is the ego, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and I think I've started this whole thing with that ego and allowed it. You know, like I'm realizing in this moment, like, got to check that shit.
But ego's just fear. All it is just fear because it's like unknown fear almost. Like ego is more of like, in my opinion, I think that ego is like a way of not allowing vulnerability to be present, but you build this ego to protect that vulnerability, or maybe there's something more underlying to the ego. I don't know, like it's situational.
Yeah, no, that's that's
yeah. Because there's a difference between ego and confidence, I think. You know, and when you're confident in what you're doing, then it's easier to convey your message and to kind of get that through, you know?
Oh man, I'm trying to remember this really awesome thing I heard about that. It's basically like the folks that have the ego and they're insecure, they're the loudest ones.
Yeah.
Confident person never says a word.
Yeah, they don't have to. There it is.
Boom.
Yeah. You really don't. You sit in silence and you're
So-
comfortable with yourself.
No, you just sit around and watch people play themselves.
I was gonna say, so how do you like? What, in your guys' opinion, what does that process look like, right? To check that ego, like
Mission.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Time.
just listen,
So, you
humble
know,
yourself.
Have you seen Eat, Pray, Love? With
I think
it's
so.
like an old school movie. Okay, one of the things that she goes on this journey to like different countries and learns different things, and one of them was like to sit in a monk or to be like in a Buddhist and to just be quiet for like 3 months. She couldn't talk for 3 months, and she came out of it just like this whole transformed human being. Just like she didn't have the need to speak, you know, because she was so confident in what she knew, and it was so profound that she was just like, yeah, I'm just, and she's just here. She's just living. Her presence was just so strong. She didn't have to speak, you know, and like,
So awesome.
that's my goal. I try to be more and more like her, that role, I guess, and
I'm gonna watch it
with my faith, you know, yeah.
That's
I don't know.
awesome.
I do think that that's something to be said where you start with it, because if you can sit in silence, you can sit and think in your own thoughts. And like, you don't say them out loud, you know, you don't need them to be said. You just need them to be acknowledged by yourself, ultimately.
A good daily practice. You meditate.
Yeah. Oh,
You do a
I do a
lot.
lot of somatic breath work, and then I end with a meditation.
Yeah, I don't do enough of that. I used to do it quite a bit. Like through COVID, I did a bunch of yoga and just like quiet
Oh, wow.
meditation.
Yes.
And man, it was so helpful.
You
The
really
weirdest
do.
thing
It helps you get out of your head.
The
You just
weirdest thing that helped me, it's selfish, very selfish, but my golf game got a lot, like a million times better.
I play pool, and my pool game is not better.
Bro.
Connecting your,
Yeah.
connecting
Okay,
your
can we
head.
highlight this for a second? Are you a pro?
I am not ranked to pro.
No,
Not yet.
Not yet.
But I am getting close.
dude, that's so sick.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Good
But
for you.
meditation has, I swear to God, I'll meditate before I go into a tournament or anything like that. And when I don't, I totally.
Yep. Because
I'm like, I
you
know
have the
it.
mind-body connection, and
Yes.
it's just you. Like I don't know if when you play, you'll see the breath work that I do before every shot.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I was watching you play the other day, like, and just watching your, like, before you, like, pre-shot routine, you know.
Yeah.
And it's all about like getting, because your hands are smarter than your head will ever be,
Yes.
or your body will. You know, there's just the connecting the two in a way that works.
Mhm.
So,
Dude, these last 2 weeks of podcasts have really educated me.
so if you're listening
That's
to
awesome.
Morgan when we played on Friday, he was talking about his swing thoughts and my hip and all this shit. That's why he didn't play great. Because
It's
he's
like
thinking
too
about
easy.
all the things and everything. Like, no, man, that's for the range. That's for. Then
That's where you practice
when you're here, this is when you execute. You just shut up.
and shoot or swing.
The last one is
Yes.
the The last one is discipline. And then you touched on this a little bit. Okay, I have to get up, I have to go to work, I have to do this, I have to pay my own bills, I have to do all these things.
Yeah.
So with the sobriety and the emotional healing too, side note, it's kind of cool. I remember, gosh, we had a guest on earlier, and this way back, and she said the number. I asked her if weed was a gateway drug over alcohol, because she struggled with drugs too.
Yeah.
But she said basically now trauma is the number one.
Yeah.
In her opinion.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Like
trauma driven for sure. Like
it's individual. I came from a pretty good life.
You come from a good life and you just want to try it out, and then you're like, oh, this is fun, and then you just roll with it. That's totally
like Chico's, dude. I saw the Chico's and I followed the Chico's, and I saw weed was involved. It was scary.
Same.
But it was awesome.
I wore Chico's.
Yeah, it was like fucking awesome.
Yeah, they were actually fucking awesome.
Did you really wear?
Actually, yeah.
That's
It's
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever put Lunchables in the back pocket?
Did I ever?
Okay, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, bro.
I didn't know. Y'all know about it.
Yeah. Maybe that was like a Northern Colorado thing.
Yeah.
Well, the pockets were big enough.
They were huge. Or you could fit like a baby in there.
Yeah.
You just put your little baby in there.
Yeah. But yeah, discipline, shoot. I mean, there's areas that I have so much improvement with discipline at this point, but discipline comes with structure, in my opinion. And with kids, I think it's helpful because kids thrive on structure. And my son even is like, well, why did we do that way yesterday? You didn't do this. And it's like, he's expecting these things, you know? And so that helps me stay disciplined. There's days where I have grace on myself and I'm like, I just need to lay in bed a little longer, you know, or I just need to go on a walk with my dog or, you know, whatever it may be. But discipline, it's mental discipline too. That's the hardest part because I think mental health plays a very large part in recovery and trauma. And if you're not caring about your mental health, then your discipline is not going to follow suit.
Yeah. Are you afraid of like that stuff snowballing though?
Yeah. Sometimes I don't trust my choices and I will have to run them by like a close family member or a close friend and just be like, I need guidance. Like, I don't know if I'm going to make the wrong choice.
See, and that, dude, that's wisdom.
Yeah.
You know,
I guess I was going, like, if you're laying in bed for 20 minutes longer, and then for me, I'm like, okay, then shoot, that allows me to do that. I'll wake up at the same time. I try to say everything every single weekend, too. Just because I don't want to be a lazy ass and wake up at like 6.
Well, I see the sun and I'm like, daylight, there's shit to be done.
I get up.
Let's go. Like, I don't like to lay in bed, but if I have to, it's like I have to. You know, I like to jump up, get it started. Do something, yard work, housework. There's always something to be done.
There's something good mood about too, like being up and watching the sunrise. Yeah. You know, I think that's like really good for like your skin and, but you know, the emotional side too.
Yeah. So you know what I've been doing that's making me disciplined is grounding myself through the earth. So like getting up, going outside, and putting my feet in the dirt, or just standing in the grass and just saying a few affirmations of what I want my day to look like, and setting the tone. Yeah. And that will keep me disciplined. It's the days that I slack and don't do that, and then everything goes to shit.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, and that's something really cool that you said about the structure piece too.
Yeah.
I made a promise to myself I'd do this one thing before I left in the gym today, and I didn't do it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh my god, I have to get that done.
To feel fulfilled.
Yeah, my wife says I have no ass, so I have to do squats. And I didn't end my day with squats, so I have to go to the gym.
Yeah, you better go back for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what the cake test is? You know what that is? You lay on the ground
and roll a bar.
Yeah.
Okay, I've seen that, but I didn't know what it was. So that's what they're trying to work on getting a bigger butt.
No, like it's just a thing. If you have an ass, here's a cake.
Yeah.
It squats a lot.
I don't think I do either, but I don't know.
No, most of us don't. Not all of us are.
I don't know, but Ashley, my wife keeps telling me that my son has my body, and he's got a little booty, man.
Yeah, Buckley boy has the same thing. He's made his side. He's also they're all skinny. He's pimples.
Dude, I have the weirdest thing on my back. I have these dimples, like right in my lower back, and you know, when I get fatter, they're more pronounced. But my son has them too, dude. Like it's crazy. I've never seen them, and they're super cute.
Yeah, genetics are crazy.
I know, dude. It's
Jackson
wild.
looks just like his dad. And my daughter looks just like me.
Really? See, and that's my daughter looks like me, and my son looks like my brother.
Oh, weird. Yeah, that's crazy.
That to me, like when I look at my son, I think of my brother all the time.
Yeah, Connor's a good mix between Jared and Mason, May's brothers.
Yeah.
I actually said that about Andrew too. He has a brother who looks just like him, and Jackson looks just like his uncle. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. And he acts like him too.
Yes,
like, you
the
know,
mannerisms.
yes, he's just like this wild little kid.
Oh.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. It's fun.
That's awesome.
So, we always ask this question at the end of every episode, but what if you had to, talking to the listener, if you had to say one thing, like you wanted to make sure they heard one piece of advice, what would that be?
To be patient with yourself. I mean, to genuinely have grace and forgiveness, because you really don't know. Like, sometimes you don't know when you're in it, and when you're in active addiction or you're drinking, you don't really know how to make great decisions, you know? And so if you do get sober and you do choose to have a good lifestyle, like, have grace.
Yeah.
Like, just be good to yourself, you know? Don't beat yourself up, even if it's horrible. Like, just forgive, like, find forgiveness in your heart. So you can move forward. You can live your life, you know? And I'm eating my own words right now. Right. That would be my biggest.
And it's hard, right? Like, obviously we say a lot of things on this podcast, and, you know, we do our best to live them out, but we are human.
Yeah.
You know, and
show the vulnerability. People will respect you more in the long run.
Yeah, for sure. Well, dude, Ashley, your story is unbelievable. Like, you are incredible, and what you've been through, and to have you sitting here today. And I mean, it's just, I'm so grateful, you know, and thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing these really scary areas of your life with us.
Yeah. Thank you for allowing me to.
Yeah, absolutely. We just hope that, you know, it resonates with somebody. And
yeah, I hope so. I mean, anybody, if you have people reach out,
I was going to say, do you want to offer a place where people can reach out to you?
Yes, please. I mean, I was hopeful, you know, maybe one or two people could resonate with something I said and just need support, you know. I'm here to listen.
There'll be a lot. You're very relatable. And
totally. And very down to earth, like, very easy to talk to.
It's kind of hard too, because sometimes you see these, like, that's why I have a hard time with the celebrity sobriety stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I really have no intention of getting Steve-O on here. Not that he doesn't always talk about it, not that he's a good person, whatever I'm saying, whatever, I don't care. But they're just not relatable.
Yeah.
Right.
They're up there.
Well, we don't live that life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we're...
And sure, if we got one or two to boost our numbers, like, okay, but...
Yeah.
I mean, I
think it's a real, tangible thing.
Agreed.
I'm on the path right now. There's a couple in California that I really want to get on here.
Oh, get them on there. Like, don't get
but they're not. They're, as far as I know, they're not famous, but they just have a really good following on social media.
That's awesome.
Well, that's what I should have said is, like, when you, like, I think the things are neat for some of the things that they say, but we got what's the dude from Tommy Boy?
Oh,
no. David Spade
or Chris
Farley?
No, oh my god, he's like the one huge movie star. He's the bad guy in Tommy Boy.
I know who you're talking about.
Oh my god. Oh, Rob Lowe?
Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
So, like, he says a lot of things, but, like, all those types of guys have been sober for a long time. Their story's cool, but, like, I think if you're trying to compare and be that, it's not. That's why I like this or other podcasters or the people. That's more, well, who you should be looking at.
Yeah, and we're looking at this as, like, a community kind of thing right now with, you know, hopefully something that we can emulate in other communities, you know what I mean?
You might be giving hope to people who are in active addiction too, if they hear it, or they're like teeter-tottering addiction.
And
like,
that's
do I go?
Yeah. And that's kind of what we're trying to reach, right? That's why we called it Shattered Darkness, and
I love that.
We've been talking about changing it, but I don't think I want to, man.
I really dig it
because it's, if you think about it, like, I don't know, I've said this before, but, like, Christ gave us a job when he left, right? And it was to go find the people that didn't know him. Right. And so my job with this is to go find the people that don't know that this is available, right? That there's friendship available. There's community available. There's a place where no judgment will happen, you know, and that we will truly meet you at a place of humanity, you know, on a human level, and try to understand your trauma and get you plugged in with the right kinds of people that understand what you're going through because they've been through it, you know? And so that's what this is all about. Right.
And you're getting through to people. I mean, I'm sending your podcast to all the people in my sobriety world.
And the number one thing I want to say this too, like, I don't want to profit off people's pain.
No.
You know, that's not what this is about. Like, if we end up making money, it will go back into
for sure
this podcast, you know, and that's a commitment that we've made. So I just want people to know that, right? Like, this is just shedding light on a part of life that a lot of people don't talk about.
Agreed.
So
Yeah.
thank you
Here
so
for it.
much for your
Thank
strength
you.
and your vulnerability.
Thank you.
We'll definitely have to get you on here again.
Sure.
So-
I'm down anytime.
Awesome. Well, with that, we're going to end this episode. Thank you guys for listening, and reach out if you have any questions or you need help. We love you. See ya.